A lot of us have the terminology around narcissistic personality disorder. And for a lot of us, that does not make a whole lot of difference when it comes to getting over that relationship. There's a lot of you who still have resentment. There's a lot of us who still experience jealousy when we see that ex with someone new. And I'm here to help you with that. One of the things that I need you to understand that's going to be instrumental in letting this go is you have to understand what you're dealing with in a narcissist. This whole thing about lacking empathy, it's very difficult for people to really thoroughly conceptualize what the world looks like without empathy. But let me paint a picture for you. I want you to imagine being a child. You're at a picnic. And it is time to eat some apple pie. Boy, how exciting. And so you get your apple pie and you take a big bite. You mix it around in your mouth. You feel the texture. It's slimy and smooth. It's got the crust. But it has no flavor. It's almost cardboard. And you see all the other kids smiling, giggling, happy, and you can't figure it out. See, your problem is that your nose, it doesn't work. You don't have a sense of smell and you have no sense of taste either. And as much as you wish you could understand what apple pie is, there's just no way to describe it to you, is there? You don't know what sweet tastes like. You don't know tart. You don't know the fragrance of apple. And so there is nothing really there for you to share in that experience. It's meaningless to you. Well, love, that's the same thing for a narcissist. How the narcissist disconnects and move on from you so fast is they lack empathy. They don't just lack empathy, it's that they lack the emotional framework that allows empathy. Empathy is a profoundly critical aspect of human development and the human mind and social, existence, because empathy is the means through which other people exist as other people. And what I mean by that is that empathy enables me to take into account your experience as a person, how you feel, which would help me strongly understand your motives and intentions. That it's like, you ever seen someone trip and fall on the blacktop and you could feel it, right? Ooh, like your body reacts, your knees react. You watch movies, you have an internal emotional response to the perception of things out there in the world, and empathy enables you and me to be on the same page because you would be able to understand the way I feel and see things. That if I were to share myself with you and you yourself with me, we could be on the same page in the same world. How would we be in the same world is that we could have similar emotional experiences as we look out together. That if I really wanted to understand you, it's also important for me to be able to feel how you feel as I imagine being you. And so when someone is telling me about themselves, telling me about their past, telling me about their childhood, telling me about their life, telling me about their day, telling me about their week, it's important that I feel it. If I want to know what is it like to be that person, I've got to be capable of creating something similar to what I imagine they would be feeling in that situation. And so lacking empathy means I can't do that. It means that you're talking to me and describing your day, And I cannot feel any of it. It's just noise. It's a distraction. It's unimportant to me because as a narcissist, the only thing I'm listening for is supply, is self-significance, is something that's going to make me feel better about myself. That you as an individual, none of that stuff means anything to me because it doesn't induce any kind of feelings or sense or anything internal. It's like, how would I react if you kept trying to give me the same apple pie? You know what? During love bombing, I could go along with all that emotional stuff and I could act a certain way, and you think my mask dropped. My mask didn't drop. The act, it's tiring. Having to pretend all this emotional stuff that really isn't there, it's not there. Nobody's home. The behaviors exhibited by narcissists are pretentious entirely. They are modeled behaviors. They are observations, mimicry, advanced mimicry, down to facial expressions, tone of voice, tears, whatever it is. You watched Amber Heard crying, and it just didn't seem like correct, right? Why? Because it's a behavior that has no correlation to an internal state. That when people are acting like that, they're modeling their behavior. They're attempting to get you to feel or think something is taking place inside of them that isn't. Now, it feels really real in the relationship because when you see that stuff, it causes you to feel things. And so your own sense of love and connectedness is like a reaction response to the perception of other people acting and being a certain way. That we really don't have a psychic connection in the sense of I feel some kind of emotion. I don't send neurotransmitters through the air to hit you in the brain. You have to see it. Your brain processes it and tries to figure out what it means. How often do people misinterpret each other's behaviors and intentions or fake each other out? You play poker and you try to conceal your internal state or your thoughts because that's how people were, trying to understand each other is observation. And so as much as you want to believe in the magic of love, the experience of these feelings is an internal process. And narcissists emulate that because it's missing, as undeveloped. That, as far as I know, you see, everybody's a narcissist. Do you know babies are narcissists? Because they only exist for their own needs, because that's what they need for survival. And so they cry, they exhibit happy behaviors because they're smiling and giggling, communicates something to mom, and she feels happy. It positively reinforces some behavior, trains mom to react and respond to the baby. The baby doesn't really think, and then it cries and acts out a certain way to get other needs met. And that's being a narcissist. And so human beings, before they develop personalities and they're bebopping around, they don't really have a sense of self. They don't have a concrete personality. Like that little baby's not analytical. It's not funny. It's not nice. It doesn't have a personality. It doesn't have, other than being that little baby narcissist, it doesn't have behaviors that are modeled yet to exist socially, to survive, like a fight or flight based personality collection of predetermined responses, behavioral patterns that are correlated to the perception of an outside world that we develop later in life. And so something happens in the life of that child that gets it stuck. It doesn't develop a personality like everybody else. And so it has to pretend. So they don't have those feelings. And so when they move